What's going on, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with another mystery box. Watch me die live. Anyway, as I was saying, got another mystery box here today. Today we've got Big Wheel Comics mystery boxes, 40 for 40 box. And if you're not familiar with it, hopefully after today you will be. And if you see something that interests you, then be sure to check him out. His video, or his channel rather, is in the description below. Now, before we get to looking at all of these good books, why don't you go ahead and take a moment to smash, lightly tap, touch the like button so that you can do it before you forget. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. What's going on, Warlord? How are you doing today? And so be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to know when videos like this drop, and you can make the conscious decision whether to watch it now or on the rewind, then hit the bell notification as well. Flash by Night, what is going on? I hadn't seen y'all in a long time, right? I know Flash by Night was just on Shortbox Padawan's channel, watching the Saturday morning cartoon crew as we try to sling a little books. And then Warlord, I was communicating with you on IG. So yeah, and I was hoping to be doing a 500 subscriber giveaway today, and I still might because I'm just that kind of guy. But we were only, let's see, we are now only 8 subscribers away at 492 subs. If I can get to 8 before 7 or 8 o'clock Central Time, then claim all Spider-Man. Yeah, so there are a lot of Spider-Man, as Mr. Comics knows, because he ordered a mystery box from Big Will as well. So but yeah, so I will be giving away a almost single-digit Uncanny X-Men, so Silver Age goodness, and it is a first appearance of a cosmic character, and I'll leave it at that. If you're an X-Men fan and you know which one I'm talking about, then there you go. But in either case, if you don't mind, go ahead and share the channel out so we can go ahead and get 8 more subscribers. 8 subscribers, people, to hit the 500 mark. And if we can do that today by 7 o'clock Central Time, I will give away that book on a live show. LBD Prophecy, what's going on? I've seen you in the chats. I don't know if I've ever seen you on one of my live shows, but I appreciate you stopping by. We are, for the most part, aside from trying to get some more subs for the channel, we are showing Big Will's 40 for 40 box. And as I mentioned, a link to his channel is in the description below so that you can contact him. I know he has a few of these left and plans on doing more of them. But yeah, so he does 40 for 40. Now, this is the 2 things that he guarantees in a mystery box. Unlike Spider-Man Booth, Comic Tom, and the like for the mystery boxes, these are the 2 things that he guarantees. You're going to get 40 comics, and they're going to be boarded and bagged. And that's it. There's no big giant chasers in there. There's no Hulk 181s. There's no Big Will Comic Tom like big exclusive or anything like that. It's 40 for 40. So basically, they're run fillers. You might get a few good books or 2, which I did as a spoiler alert because I've already opened the box. But yeah, so if you're looking for that, now the first round of the ones that he's had, he admitted was Spider-Man Heavy. And I was okay with that because if I didn't get something I liked, Spider-Man is relatively easy to sell. Mr. Comics 89, there's some Spider-Man love. He thought I was throwing shade to Spidey earlier in talking with the Batman Popster because he collects Batman. And so there you go. I wasn't throwing shade against Spidey. Spidey has his place. He's an iconic character too. But yeah, so that's what we get. And so let's see what we got, okay? First off, we got Spider-Man Chapter 1, Number 7. This is a little reflective cover. You see that, Steven Spot? Reflective. Little John Byrne art there. This is from the 90s, one of the many Spider-Man titles from the 90s there. Ultimate Spider-Man 69, the magic number, yeah, right? So talking about Ultimate Spider-Man reminds me that if anybody that watches this live on the rewind or know somebody that's interested in an almost complete Ultimate Spider-Man run, DM me on IG and let's talk. I'm only missing 4 or 5. I've got number 1, but I don't have 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe 6. And so if you're interested, so that includes the first Venom in the Ultimate Universe, that includes the first Moon Knight and Carnage and all those kind of things. So everything else right up there to the end. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Okay. Now, this is one of the bigger books that was included in this. So these are not all dollar bin books, people. Big Will said, hey, I don't know. I just counted 40 bucks. They're board and bagged. I put them in there. I don't know which ones are which. So there you go. Now, this one right here, Web of Spider-Man 36. Now, it is a newsstand. That was not as big of a deal when this was released in 1987 because, to be honest, the directs are probably more rare. Steven Spock, you heard me talk about you, and here you are. I showed that earlier. I don't know if you were interested in the book or not. If you are, let me know. I'll put it in your pile. But yeah, so this is the first appearance of Tombstone. So this is one of the bigger books for this box. Almost worth the box itself. This is about a $10 to a $20 book, depending on the shape it's in, and this one is in really good shape, so definitely worth it right there. As far as resale value, now if that wasn't good enough, here we go again. Amazing Spider-Man 344, and for you Spidey fans, you should recognize this as the first appearance of Cletus Cassidy. No, we're not talking about Carnage. We're talking about Cletus Cassidy, the host of the Carnage symbiote. And so this is his first appearance way back in Amazing Spider-Man 344. And so this is about a $10 book itself. And so again, worth the price of admission on Big Will's comic book box. Now, I have not seen any Body's Big Will 4440 boxes other than Mr. Comics and my own. And so I can't speak outside of that, but both his and mine were worth it in my opinion. Just speaking from resale value, because with mystery boxes, and I opened up Michael Ancre's mystery box yesterday. If you didn't see that video, go check it out. But with mystery boxes with me, because I do sell books on occasion, as long as I can sell them, if I don't like them, as long as I can sell them, they're fairly movable characters like Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, fairly easy to move characters, not some off the wall like New Universe stuff from the 80s. I'm good with getting, mystery boxes as long as I can move that stuff. And the problem comes when you're getting nothing but stuff that doesn't move, and that's why you got it from them. But yeah, so in Big Will's, especially since it was Spider-Man heavy, doesn't matter. Spidey's a relatively easy character to get rid of if I didn't catch anything that I wanted to keep in my PC. Web of Spider-Man 100. So this is the first appearance of the spider armor, and this one is notorious because it's a little holly foil cover for spine ticks, but I don't catch a single one. So yeah, this is another good pickup for Big Will's 40 for 40 box. And see, I'm not even asking for sponsorship money, Big Will. Alice to moves my Plasma Force titles. Exactly. Well, if you get one in there, that's one thing. But I have gotten mystery boxes before that literally it was nothing but junk. And you're like, man, really? You just opened up the dollar bin and poured everything out. I mean, whatever, right? So we've got Web of Spider-Man 94. So there were quite a few Web of Spider-Mans in this particular iteration of the box. I take that back. I also seen one that he sent to JB. So I have seen 3 of them, counting my own. 68, him fighting Tombstone there. 67. 66. 34. Then we've got 30, Kingpin's son, the Rose. Wolverine 35. Of course, this would for me would be a keeper if I didn't have it already. So again, not a bad book. That is not going there. Let's see. Then we've got Web of Spider-Man 28. This is a really cool cover, and I actually thought about keeping it. Web of Spider-Man 29. Him and Wolvie teaming up there, back to back against these thugs. You know, these thugs ain't got a chance. And so, pretty good there. Spectacular Spider-Man 179. Ultimate Spider-Man 66. Little Bagley art there on the cover. Cool. And I already got that one. Let's see. Spider-Man Chapter 1, number 6. Another good thing about mystery boxes, if you can make it happen, is getting a run, you know, not a big run, obviously, depending on how many books you got in there, but a decent sized run of, you know, a certain title. So there's a bunch of the Web of Spider-Mans subsequent to each other. There's some of these Spider-Man Chapter 1s right in a row. So, you know, if somebody is not into a character, they could at least read a couple of stories to see what's going on there. Oh, yeah, trademark chain, man. You had to have a chain. And oftentimes you had to have a mohawk to be a thug back in those days. And sure enough, check out that guy on the roof there. He's got a crowbar. He's got a mohawk. This guy's got a chain. This guy's got, you know, a little knife, you know, butterfly knife or something like that. So, yep, very typical. Peter Parker Spider-Man number 34 or Legacy number 132. Mr. Comics says, Spider-Man, it's always good. We've got Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Elektra. Not the best drawing of Elektra I've ever seen, but this is annual 1998. So Marvel decided to call their annuals for a year, well, a couple years, by the year the annual came out instead of having subsequent numbers. But this is the annual for that. Then we've got Ultimate Spider-Man 67. So you noticed I had 66, 67. Here's 68, and I think the other one was 69. So yeah, it is. And so yeah, 4 in a row. So even if I wasn't familiar with Ultimate Spider-Man, I've got 4 issues I could probably catch on to stuff. So that's another good sign of a good mystery box. Spectacular Spider-Man 172. I believe there's 1 or 2 of these Spectacular Spider-Mans pretty close to each other. So another thing of that. We've got Marvel Team Up starring Spider-Man and Man-Thing. The 90s version of Marvel Team Up, not the age-old one. Then we've got Spectacular Spider-Man 178. So see, right there close to each other. And we've got Peter Parker Spider-Man 97. So the annual for that year. Got Callisto in the background. Let's see, who's he raising right there? Don't know who that is, but it doesn't look like it's good. Horrifying return of the Marvel Zombie. This is before Marvel Zombies, so it was only 1 Marvel Zombie. Elektra looks good to me. Then we've got the Sensational Spider-Man 33 and 32. And then if you like manga, why not mix a little Spidey in with your manga with Spider-Man manga? Yeah, anyway. You know, I don't know, all the, you know, Japanese cartoons do that, you know, have that dramatic pause. And so this is issue number 1. Great jumping on point, right? And then issue 2. And so as far as for the Ultimate Universe, this is a pretty big key. This is the second appearance of the Carnage symbiote. Not to spoil anything for an almost 20-year-old story, but Gwen Stacy is the infected or has the Carnage symbiote. She is Carnage in the storyline. But yeah, so this is the second appearance of it. If you see right here where it came from, the Deep Comics and Games, which is in Huntsville, Alabama. If you've never been to the Deep, if it's not for this reason, it'd be a good reason to name it the Deep, and that's because it's if you go in there, it's very deep. You can go far back, a lot of comics, new issues, back issues, and so it's a nice place to shop. So if you happen to be in the Huntsville area, I would recommend it. You might also recognize the name because Rockin' Robbie Billups works at the Deep. So if you're familiar with his channel, then yeah, so he probably mentions the comic store that he works at. So that is the one that he works at. Got to going live with the Comic Book Hangout Talking Kindred. So are you spoiling who Kindred is? Is that what we're doing here? And was it the person that you thought it was going to be? And then we also have Scarlet Spider #1. So in the 90s, when you had the Clone Saga, which I was okay with, to be on the record, I was okay with the Clone Saga. The part that turned me off was when they swapped it and made like, okay, the guy that was going by Ben Reilly was really Peter Parker. Peter Parker the whole time was the clone. That was kind of off the wall. If they had left that out, the Clone Saga was fine with me. Just me. A lot of other people didn't like it. But lo and behold, the readership spoke and they switched it back eventually. And but therefore, a few issues of each of the Spider-Man titles, which there were 4 or 5 at that time, then they went by the Scarlet Spider moniker. And so this is Scarlet Spider #1. And this is a John Romita cover, and it is a newsstand. So that's from 90-something. So this is later in the newsstand era of things. And so definitely cool to get that one picked up in a newsstand. Yes, Rockin' Robbie is the guy that gets shouts out from Bueller. Him, Bueller, Everything Comics, and which is Bullseye Bob, and one other person I forget do the Thunderdome. But yeah, that's the same guy. Same guy. The Deep is a nice store, more organized than some other LCSs I've been in, that or larger in size. Yes, it is. Normally LCSs that large, it's all over the place. You know, it reeks. It's on the bad side of town. You know, so on and so forth. But the Deep is fairly well organized with their stuff. Their back issues can be a little bit on the high side, but I think the prices are still fair. And they've got a big selection of new issues. So if you like that, then certainly you can pick that up there. So, yeah. Well, if you counted all those books out, you'll notice that there were not 40. Now, did anybody notice that? I doubt it. You probably didn't notice that there weren't 40 comic books in there, but there weren't. There originally were, but there weren't. So what happened was, what it is the box came in right as I was going live with the claim sale over on Shortbox Padawans, the Saturday morning cartoon crew, as I mentioned earlier. The box came in, I quickly cut open the box, split it out to see what was what, and threw some up, and some of them already sold. So, yeah, so if you are one of my regular buyers, and especially if you have a box that you're building with me, typically what I do, just so you know, and some of you are already in here, but just so you know, if I know what you like or what you're looking for, I usually give you first dibs, and usually I sell it to you for cheaper on Instagram, just DMing you, than I do selling it on the auction. Because, and the reason for it is obviously it helps you out, but it moves the money that's tied up in books quicker rather than holding it and waiting for an auction. And then I might not be able to, with my work schedule, be able to do an auction one week. So I could quickly turn those dollars around and then buy other stuff, as opposed to it sitting there in boxes. Bueller and those vests. Yes, he's definitely Bueller is my age. I'm 42. I think he might be 43, 40, yeah, right around the same age. Um, yeah, they are. But, again, I don't think they're outrageously high on the stuff that I seen. I know last time I was in Huntsville right before the corona happened. As a matter of fact, they shut down the week after I was there. And yeah. But yeah, so they shut down the week after I was there. So I was there with Big Will, and we were digging in some loan boxes, and so we were able to pick up some books. And so yeah, that was the first time I'd been there. I'm going to be up that way. Deep dive. Remind me, I know you're in Alabama. Are you in Huntsville? I'm meeting another YouTuber up there next week. I was in Tupelo, Mississippi, and so it's close enough. So I'm going to bebop over to Florence, Alabama, and go to the comic shop there before I head over to Huntsville to meet up with this other guy. And so plan on going to Creamer and Cash Comics. You probably know her as Amber Key or Keys, who sells on the Key Unit auction on Jay Blitz's channel. And she runs or owns that shop. And so I'm going to that shop. Never been there before. Plan on going to the Haven, which is Josh. I don't know his last name, but he's always on Two Brothers Comics channel all the time while I'm up there. Be the first time I've ever been in his shop. And then I plan on going to the Deep probably last because I've been there before. But every time I go to a big comic shop, usually there's something different I'm looking for the next time. Feels Flash by Night says feels like all the Alabama comic YouTubers are in Huntsville. It seems that way, don't it? Kind of crazy. But yeah, so I'm going to be up that way. I'm with my job, and so just taking some time to go over there and goof off. I was in Huntsville working, but for the last 3 months, I was working from home and not in the office. I'm back in Florida. They call us back in the office. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of cool sometimes when you finally put a face with the name. But of course, in YouTube, people recognize the face, maybe just the screen name as opposed to your real name, your aliases, your made up names, as Spidey says. And so I remember the first time that I was in a con in Tupelo this year. Well, the last con I went to, well, except for Huntsville. So next to last con I went to this year before they were all canceled. And somebody said, "Hey, you're Southern Comic Geek, aren't you?" And I'm like, "What is this? You recognize me?" But yeah, so it's fun, and especially when people. I've been with Dustin from Two Brothers Comics. Went and checked out some comic shops while I was over there in Atlanta last month or month before last, and hit up some good comic shops. Walked away with a lot of books, and so I mentioned I went to Huntsville. I was going to catch up with Nick that time I was there too, but something happened with his daughter, and she ended up having to go in the emergency room or something while I was there, so we didn't get to meet up. But yeah, put glasses on as a disguise. Hey, it works for Superman, right? And at least until Bendis gets a hold of it, and works for Superman. But it's fun, you get together with some people who like the same stuff, and yeah. Felt weird first time I met community members and called them by their screen names. Great experience there. And yeah, it's force of habit too, because because some people don't like using their real names out there on the internet with YouTube. They don't like using their real names because they're afraid of creepers or whatever, for whatever reason. So they just go by their aliases. And then you're like, well, you okay with us being on a real name basis as opposed to your screen name basis? Because if you are, that'd be a lot easier, but it's still easy to revert back to what you know them as, because I'm sometimes bad with names. So, you go and see somebody and, I'm used to calling somebody by Warlord or Flash by Night. It's a little easier to do that as opposed to. Um, it's funny because and it's just different strokes for different folks. But like JB normally calls me by my first name, and then Dustin at Two Brothers Comics will call me by my first name, whereas Nick calls me by Southern Comic Geek. And then some people call me SCG. And some people call me SoCo, which I blame Jay Blitz for doing that SoCo stuff. I found out it was alcoholic beverage. I'm like, what? What the crap? Flashpoint Comics, what's going on, man? Glad you stopped by. Mr. Gorell, hello there. Look, man, I'm sorry. Ben Compton says I use my real name. Yeah, no aliases here. It's all legit. So that's not like Jane Doe or John Smith. That is his real name. That's his real name. Mr. Gorell, sorry I could not oblige you when it came to your wants and your needs for your comic book. However, I do have the 2 comic books that you claimed. If you have a certain list, I will be, of course, you probably don't really want me. You want me to send you a list of what I can sell, but you don't want me to send a list. It's one of those things, right? It's like, don't tempt me. Get thee behind me, Satan, that kind of thing. But yeah, so if you want to fill up a box, Barbarian doesn't currently have anything with me. I mailed his box out a few weeks ago. But if you want to just build a box, that's fine. Or if you want to send me a list and see if I can help you out with the books, then yeah, lady, it's like it hadn't been that long ago, since we've seen each other, right? Yeah, so is a made-up name. The man with the best hair in YouTube is what Barbarian says about him. What's going on, Slim Comics? How are you? I sent your Uncanny X-Force Blood Money. Hey, lady, if you are trying to get a run of that Uncanny X-Force, let me know. Actually, you should have let me know because I sold a whole bunch to David. Oh, bull. What is his name? He bought a bunch of X-Title books from me before, but I sold a whole bunch to him because at one time I was working on that run and I abandoned it. But at my comic shop, I got some on the cheap. So if you want, if you're interested in trying to put that run together, send me the list and we'll keep an eye out for it. You told your secret. You told your secret. Hidden Jim, thanks for joining us. Yes, I switched channels. That's right. Go from one right on to the other. It's like you've been on YouTube a long time today. Yeah, you're going to have to kiss and make up with Joey Bag of Sevens now, Mr. Gorell. Yeah, so now correct me if I'm wrong, lady, but didn't Rick Remender write that whole run, Volume 1, Uncanny X-Force? I thought he wrote that whole run, which I meant what I said before I sold you the books because I didn't know that you were interested in the Uncanny X-Force, that most consistent. I really kind of wish that they would have kept consistent art. That helps too. If you look at Gideon Falls, for example, I think Jeff Lemire and Sorrentino, maybe, they work really well together. They work together on Old Man Logan. They complement each other, but it wasn't in the cards, so to speak. But they did have some killer art, not to miss Mark Brooks, who's some of his early art was there too. Yep, that's what I thought. Yes, it's $9 shipping, sir. Mr. Gorell never combs his hair. Well, I mean, it's just like, I mean, what can you comb? I mean, he might be like me and not have to worry about any of that, and at least he does have hair. Right. Yeah. The later runs of that. Yep. But I guess I've been an X Force fan and different iterations of X Force probably since the first one with Liefeld. Not as big of a Liefeld fan now as I was back then, um, but yeah. They're a great team on Gideon Falls. Yeah, I think so. Unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, it's probably good for my pocketbook because I'm sure some other comic will take it up. Unfortunately, that'll be off my pull list pretty soon because they are going to be wrapping it up. But I like stories that have an eventual end, right? Not just drag on and on and on or recycle the same old stuff. So it's definitely been a good run. Hair is overrated. Could be. Could be. Only sent me 8 for shipping. No soup for you. Into the line. Into the line. So, lady, do you want me to go ahead and mail your books? And maybe you just DM me this information. But if you want me to go ahead and mail your books, just let me know. Or otherwise, I'll just hold them because I think you only had 4. Seen the new Alex Ross variant set. Are you talking about the timeless variants? You're talking about the timeless variants, Hidden Gem? Into the line, like, into the line. No soup for you. Yeah, yeah. They're gonna track you down at the university, lady. They're gonna track you down. But yeah, so I wasn't terribly worried about it, but figured it out. Yes, the Hidden Gem comics, or to Hidden Gem comics is Alex Ross stuff. I've been picking up the X-Men ones mostly. I have picked up the Hulk one, and I picked up the She-Hulk. I've been thinking about getting that Ghost Rider one because that's pretty sweet looking. But I haven't got all of them to answer your question. But they are pretty nice. Yes, you caught the Seinfeld reference. What is the deal with that? I don't know. And so yes, definitely a child of that era. But yeah, so yeah, Alex Ross always on fire, with his art, and those timeless covers are certainly no exception of that. And the other one I want to get, supposed to be coming out this coming week, is Spider Woman, which I was kind of surprised that I stayed on Spider Woman. I got the first one through Comic Tom's mystery box, and I kind of like the story, and so I have stayed on it since then, and it's been okay. I don't know if I'll continue to, but we'll see. Yeah. I guess I just been missing conventions so much, Joey. But yeah, been posting some of my previous convention runs and meeting with the various artists. And yeah. Well, so that's why I went back and picked up those that you had up there, lady. Were was because of that. So. Say a few Alex Ross timeless variants. The Falcon reminds me of Coco Beware. So yeah, all these cons shut down. We had the Huntsville Comic Con. Was able to meet up with Big Will and Two Brothers Comics over there, and Big Ben 70 was there as well, and so got to chit chat with all of them. And there was somebody else that was there that I didn't realize was there. It might have been Deep Dive Comics, but it was somebody that was there too that I didn't realize was there at that time. Didn't realize they were there until after the fact. And so if y'all notice when I stood up, my Batman run, which I did a virtual run a few weeks ago, 10K, and got my Batman swag in, so payment sent, I'll build a box. Yeah, that's fine. And then that way you maybe can throw some more books. I can tempt you with a few more Star Wars. Like I said before, the problem with Star Wars is you're just getting my doubles because I don't typically get rid of that stuff. And talking about Star Wars, so I'm not a big fan and conventions. Largely CGC's figured out that they better figure out something to do to get their submissions up. And of course, then they've been overwhelmed, I think. What reason for them taking longer than usual? They've been overwhelmed by the response to all these in-house signings. And so the in-house signings, I'm not a big fan of because you lose the interaction one-on-one to be able to talk and hear the stories from the artists and get to meet them personally and take pictures, as crazy as that might sound. Yes. Yeah, I thought it was you. Yeah. I didn't spend all that much. Well, if you take out the books I got signed by Claremont and submitted to CBCS, then yeah, I didn't spend that much. But if you count those, I did. So I'm not a big fan of that for that reason. And so the exception that I made was for Roy Thomas. Roy Thomas, writer, and then for a short while, editor at Marvel. And if you saw one of my other videos, then you know that I talked about getting my Hulk 180, 181, and 182 signed by him. So I'm going to do that. I've already put that in with CGC. I've just got to mail these books off to the presser. And I'm also going to get my Conan 1 signed by him. And I'm going to get my Marvel Premiere number 15, first appearance of Iron Fist, signed by him as well. He was the writer on those last two. He was the editor on the former ones, the Hulk books. And so editor is kind of a stretch. However, he's one of the few people left alive that had anything to do with that book. I had hoped at first, because there's a guy in Huntsville that has some connections to John Romita. I was hoping at first, but now with Romita's health, I don't know if that's going to happen. So I did not want to miss the opportunity. And the Hulk 180, 181, and 182 all needed reslabbing anyway, because when I got them, they were cracked, which the seller took care of. So I've got the money to get them reslabbed. And so the other thing was that submitting them to CGC now, all they're charging me is $80. And that's for the signature and the slabbing. Whereas if I was to submit, especially the 181, because it's a big boy book, if I was to submit the 181, they'd be going off of the value of the book, which is significantly more, and that would be costing me more, and I wouldn't even be getting a signature. So it's what led me to make that decision. And then I had the Conan 1 and the first Iron Fist. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to send those. I wanted to send the Star Wars 1. This is where I was going with all that. I wanted to send the Star Wars 1, but my Star Wars 1, although it is white pages, is only a 6.0. And I really don't want to buy a better one right now. Let's see. Yeah, in-house, just to get them set up for sale. Yeah, you're right. I'll check that because I hadn't long checked that. Yeah, I haven't long checked that out, and I know Romita Jr. is signing, but I don't think Senior is. But hey, I hope you're right. So they are covering the insurance. Yeah. So when they ask you how much you value your book at, as you know, that's what can really drive the price of your book up. And so I put what I normally would put, and they still charge me $80 flat. So. Really good. Joey says, do you ever have people jump on your string with you? On occasion. However, I talk an awful lot. And so typically I don't, for that very, very reason. But on occasion I do. And then sometimes I'll jump on other people's strings. And then because I talk so much, we try to start talking over each other. It's just one of those deals. All right, you see. Huh? But yeah, that's so I appreciate everybody jumping in here. Let me look and see what my subscriber count is up to. We are still at 492 people. Well, we got a couple hours to go. So if you don't mind, or if you have 100 side accounts like Barbarian, sorry, it's just Junior. Yeah, I didn't think so. He was supposed to be, and he might have still done it, and I just missed the deadline. He was doing a in-house signing at a comic shop nearer to him, and they were going to submit to CGC from there, and I missed it, or he didn't end up having it. So number 500, yeah, well, hashtag 500, yeah, hopefully so, because I want to give away that very early Uncanny X-Men, and we are dangerously close to that. So just an hour and a half or so more. And if we get that 500, I'll jump back on live. And to Joey's earlier question, I probably will bring some people in there too. Yes, I opened the Big Wheel box. This was not clickbait. So Joey comes in here and there's like, this is supposed to be a Big Wheel box. What's he talking about? I don't even see Big Wheel. I don't see Big Wheel comics. I don't see no boxes. I don't even see no comics. What's going on here? And that's because we did it earlier and we just kept on running our trap, Joey. That's how it goes and how it goes. But if we were able to well, you know, if you're trying to hit some kind of milestone, Barbarian, there you go. So, but yeah, so early Uncanny X-Men, it's a first appearance of a cosmic character. So it's an almost single digit X-Men. So it is going to be given away for free to somebody that shows up at that live stream. So you do have to be present to win on that. And then hopefully we'll have that. It depends if we hit that 500 or not. So I will let you all find people go and go about your ways and maybe, haul some people in and say, come one, come all, come subscribe to his channel so he will give away an expensive book. Come on, people, come on, what is wrong with you? And do something like that, maybe. Or you can just say, hey, would you sub this guy up? Anyway, so there you go. Bottom line, back to the Big Wheel Comics, which is what we came here originally for. 40 books for $40. I know that he's still got some available. So if you're a Spider-Man fan in particular, are looking for books to sell, then you definitely could hit him up. His link to his channel is in the description below, and I know he still has some available. Nah, Joey, no. Joey's sitting there trying to figure it out. My. I'm trying to get to tick. Barbarian, I don't think I can even literally make that many fake accounts up that quick to help you get there, bud. So, but yeah, so that, well, yes, Joey, to answer your question, that is what it is. It is an X-Men 11 first appearance of the Stranger. Woo! Who they thought to be a mutant at first, and come to find out he was a cosmic entity. Later on, he would be one of the people that has the Infinity Gems that Thanos would steal from him. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's kin to the Collector and all them too. I don't think he's not made a appearance in the MCU yet. The Collector and oh crap, what was the other one's name? This wasn't a guess, and you get it, Joey. This was a get 500, be in the live stream, and maybe you'll get it from there. But yes, Joey is correct, y'all. It is an X-Men 11. So anyway, well, that's all I got for now, folks. Hopefully, we will be going live again in just a little while. But until next time, keep reading and keep collecting. Let's see. I'd like to hit 60 subs by Monday. I do have 1,000 plus followers on IG. Yeah, on IG, I've got 1,200 followers on IG. And it's like, YouTube. Thank you for sharing, Barbarian. I think. Is that why you love the man thing so much? Yes. So where are you at, Deep Dive? Hopefully you're not very far away from that. If you're not familiar with Deep Dive Comics, go check him out. Yes, Fu loves those restrooms, it seems. Wow. This is an expose of sorts. All kinds of revelations going on. Oh, first we were it says ding ding ding, we have a winner. I thought he was saying ding dong, we have a winner. It's like, all right, Barbarian, this is going south very fast. Okay, there's another pun. All right, people, thank you. So go sub up Deep Dive Comics. Hit Big Will up if you're interested in getting a 40 for 40 box. And if you can help me out, hit that 500 mark or Deep Dive. Hit 5 more subs on that. Then there we go. So till next time, keep reading and keep collecting. Adios.